Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Time flies and we are already in the middle of 2023 season. Till now I did already 9 rallies. Some of them were in extreme off-road conditions, especially the ones that I did in Czech Republic. And till now my Tamiya XV-01 is surviving. Of course, let's say I'm taking good care of it. After each rally I clean it and I check if there are some damages, but something that I do time to time is to do a complete maintenance, especially now that I'm getting ready to be competitive in the second part of the season. So in today's video I'm going to show you in my way how I do the maintenance of a chassis. Okay, let's start, and while I will work on the car I will explain you why I do certain things. Doing the maintenance of the car is very important because I imagine that as me, also you spend a lot of hours on your model trying to get the best of the performances, and it's a shame where something wrong happens during a race. Okay, I'm going to start disassembling completely the car. I want to change the suspension balls because they are worn out and all the suspension arms are moving quite a lot, and the small spacers that I usually put here are not working anymore in the proper way. Okay, looking at the belt, it still looks quite good, but I'm using it from more than 1 year and I think that it's arrived the moment to change it. Also because I want the car to be almost perfect in order to achieve the best possible performances. Yeah, it came out very easily. Okay, at this point of the maintenance process, I'm going to disassemble the rear differential. I'm looking here at the status of the teeth of the gear and they're okay. In general, the rear part of the XV-01 is less stressed mechanically comparing it to the front one, because we have here low weight, and in general this helps to prevent any mechanical failure. This is the rear propeller shaft. What I usually do, I remove all the dirt and I clean them with the Woody 40 spray. I usually do not add any grease here because, in my opinion, if you add the grease to a metal part, it's going to get dirty. It's going to create, let's say, a paste that is going to worn out in an easier way the components. So for now I will put this here. As you can notice, almost all of my bearings are the sealed ones that in my chassis, the original ones, were getting worn out. Slowly I was replacing them with this one. They let's say live longer, and also they prevent the dirt to go inside, not also the bearings, but if you put them, let's say, here where we have the differentials, they prevent the dirt to go inside the differential area. This is how I clean the propeller shaft in a very simple but efficient way. I put them on a towel. I take the brake cleaner. Okay guys, I finally removed the first suspension bolts, and yes, they looks quite worn out. So of course I think that putting the new ones, I'm going to increase, let's say, the precision of the movement of the suspension arms. I didn't expect the car to be that dirty, and yeah, it's better to put some gloves. Okay, I think that in the rear part of the car we are done, and I'm going to reassemble some components of it. Then I'm going to clean everything here, and I will take care of the real differential. Each time that I work on the differentials, I try always to open them and work on them in a clean, on a clean table, because I want to avoid the dirt going inside them, damaging the gears that we have inside. Okay, I took a few minutes in order to clean and rearrange the table because I was making a mess. Talking about the things that I did till now, the rear part of my chassis is ready. What I did was to replace the suspension bolts with the Tamiya fluorine coated ones. They should, let's say, in theory, have less friction, but also because they are not in plastic, they are going to be more durable. I'm also happy because I was able to achieve a good level of stability, and now the suspension arms are not moving a lot as before. But I've achieved this result thanks also to these spacers. This is the item from Tamiya 53585, and they are very useful. I use them in all the chassis in order to reduce this kind of movements. Talking about this part, the mounts that keep in place the rear stabilizer, I've noticed that they were completely stuck. I was not able to move them. This is my fault because during these months, when I was doing the regular maintenance of my chassis, I forgot about them. By the way, I would like to share with you the way that I used to clean these parts. I just used the cotton buds. I soak them a bit with brake cleaner, and then I used to clean in this way the connection bolts. It's a very easy way to clean them, and cleaning them you're going to restore, let's say, their functionality. So talking about the next step, I'm going to reassemble this differential. Then I'm going to focus on this cover of the rear part of the chassis. I'm going to disassemble it. I'm going to change the pulley. I will still use the plastic one. Here I prefer to use the plastic one and not the aluminum one. And also I'm going to check if everything here is okay, and of course for sure I'm going to replace the bearings. Okay, everything is almost ready. I'm happy that I'm doing this maintenance. I've checked this old gear and it's quite worn out. It's still good, but I've calculated that I still will have to do around 6 rallies till the end of this season. So it's better to change it now rather than later, because anyway I don't think that I will be able to arrive at the end of the season. My Tamiya ceramic grease, it's almost empty, and if you have any good suggestions, please leave it in the comment. Good suggestions as a substitute, because at least here in Europe it's quite hard to find this item. Talking about the differentials, I'm sure that you have noticed these caps. They are a special item, that it's this one. I decided to change them because they give you the possibility to change not the cap if it is worn out, but this final plastic part. In fact, I'm using these caps since the beginning of the season. The rear ones are quite worn out, but not a lot yet. And in fact, the thing that I did was to change these final plastic parts that are these ones. And I think that I will arrive till the end of the season with these caps. Okay, the rear part of the chassis is completely restored. I am enjoying the smoothness of the suspension arms and of the rear stabilizer working. As I said before, I had these supports that were completely stuck because of the dirt that got inside them, but now they're working amazingly. Okay, so let's pass to the front part of the chassis. Okay, I'm noticing something that makes me feel a bit scared. I think that this part is moving a bit too much. But let's see. Now I'm going to focus to the suspension arms. Okay, I've just assembled the front suspension arms using the coated bolts, and here on the left side it's perfect. but here it's moving a bit. So I'm going to add this tiny spacer. Okay, I just finished to assemble the car. Sadly, I have to, let's say, admit that I've neglected the maintenance of some parts of the chassis. In fact, I'm referring to the rear stabilizer. Because of the dirt, it was completely stuck. And because it was stuck and not functioning in the proper way, so I'm referring to moving. It was, let's say, decreasing the smoothness and efficiency of the rear suspension arms. In fact, now that I'm pressing the rear part of the chassis, it feels smooth and clean, let's say. So I think that because of that, I had some disadvantages in the rallies that I did, having, let's say, the rear part of the car a bit stuck. But I'm happy that I was able to figure out this problem and solve it with this complete maintenance. Talking about the other parts of the car in which I made some changes, I checked the differential caps. I'm not using anymore the stock ones that you find inside the box, but I'm using these ones. They are great because they do not worn out so easily like the stock ones, especially in the rear. And if they're going to worn out, you will be able to replace these plastic parts that you're going to attach to your propeller shaft. Another thing that I used during the maintenance, meanwhile I changed the suspension balls with the fluorine coated ones, was to use these small spacers that helped me to calibrate everything in the proper way. In fact, now the suspension arms are not moving so much as before. And then I've decided to change the front and the rear gears because I've noticed that they were quite worn out, especially the gears in the front, because due to the configuration of this chassis, the front gears get stressed a lot. So be careful because they can have a mechanical failure suddenly while you are, let's say, racing. And the last thing that I did was to replace the bearings with the sealed ones. When you buy the Tamiya XV-01, or let's say your RC chassis, I don't think that it's so important to change immediately all the bearings with the sealed ones. But once your stock bearings get worn out and you have to change them, it's good to start to buy the sealed ones, especially for the bearings that are located near the differential, because in this way they are going to block the dirt from the outside going inside the gears of your model. Then I also changed the belt because it was quite stretched out. I'm using this belt since 1 year. And also I changed the front and the rear pulley. I know that there are the aluminum pulleys that you can buy, but I personally prefer to use the plastic ones. I'm able to use them for almost all the season before they wear out, and I prefer that the belt is connected to something, let's say, soft, because when something hard like a small rock gets stuck inside, it's better, in my opinion, that the pulley get a bit deformed, preserving, let's say, the health of the belt. Because if we have, let's say, the aluminum pulley and something gets stuck, the aluminum pulley is not going to get, let's say, deformed, and it can happen that during a rally you can damage the belt. So because of that, I prefer to use the plastic pulleys. Okay, talking about the products that I used to clean my car. Okay, I used some water and soap for the plastic parts. Then I helped myself with this hairband. I want to specify that it's not made by plastic. I used some hair duster, brake cleaner combined with the hairband, and some Woody 40. And for lubricate the bearings, I used a bit of this bearing oil made by Tornado. Okay, I think that's all. I really hope that you found useful this video, and maybe some of these tips are going to be useful for yourself if you have a Tamiya XV-01 or some other chassis. Okay, I think that's all. I invite you to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to support it. And see you next week with a new video. Ciao!